musicians and non-musicians feel and perceive music the same way? No one person is the same as another, they say. But one thing that does make us all similar to each other is that music is able to evoke feelings and emotions. Music is a powerful force that creates different feelings to different types of people. I began pondering if non-musicians feel and perceive a piece of music the same way musicians do. My proposal will be focused on how a musician feels and perceives music different from a non-musician. Does everyone hear the same things in music? As Judith Becker states, I honestly don't think everyone feels rapturous about musical listening, or about the croaking of frogs, or the sound of waves, or any number of other sounds. This quote sparked the idea to research and test this out with people I know. According to Molly Gedrin, musicians process pitch, rhythm, harmony, melody, and structure differently from those who do not go regular musical training. Musicians are taught different since they were young, and this greatly influences how they will act and respond in the future. In a study by Mireille Besson and Frederick Freitag, children who had studied music showed brain responses that were not even present in the brains of the children who did not study music. The children musicians were processing information that the non-musician children did not even perceive. The children musicians were able to identify when a piece ended in the wrong note or one that did not sound correct. Researchers found that those who played an instrument for 2 years showed a stronger neurophysiological distinction between certain sounds than children who did not get the instrumental training. This study highlights the idea that musicians process information different than non-musicians. A musician's brain develops at different levels than a non-musician because it is something that the musician has practiced over many years and has become first nature to them. This shows that the auditory processing of musicians is much more finely tuned at a fundamental, unconscious level than non-musicians. According to the Cognitive Brain Research Unit in Finland, it is known that musicians can detect pitch changes faster and more accurately than non-musicians. Judith Becker defines deep listening as people who may feel chills or goosebumps or who may even cry when listening to music they find moving. Emily C. Nussbaum and Paul J. Sylvia define chills as aesthetic chills, thrills, shivers, frisson, and even skin orgasms involve a seconds-long feeling of goosebumps, tingling, and shivers, usually on the scalp, the back of the neck, and the spine, but occasionally across most of the body. Although most people report having music-induced chills, some people never have them and other people have them constantly. According to Ed Letner, the non-musician tends to just experience music and lets the music wash them over, or wash over them. However, musicians do a lot more work when hearing a piece of music. Musicians listen to different musical aspects such as harmonies, melodies, rhythm, and expression. For my study, I will be playing the third movement from Symphony F in F major by Sammartino, with Judith Becker used for a study to see how people perceive this piece of music. I will now play a part of this piece. my study, I analyzed how my mother, a singer, and father, civil engineering, perceive and feel this piece of music different. After I played the piece for 2 to 3 minutes, I asked my participants to write what they felt or perceived during the piece. My mother said, also the musician in my study, that the piece made her feel festive, joyful, and elegant. She also noticed that it was a classical music and that the violins were very coordinated with the rest of the orchestra. She also noticed that it was in slow tempo. On the other hand, my father said that he felt relaxed and at peace. He said he was imagining a lake. A lake is known to represent calmness. While both my mother and father were feeling emotions during the piece, my mother, the musician, was able to analyze more things that were happening than my father. The musician in my study was able to identify some of the instruments that were being played, and she also noted the synchronization of the instruments. This supports Ed Letner's claim that musicians listen to different musical aspects when listening to a piece of music. So to answer the question of my project, in my research study, musicians do perceive music different than non-musicians because musicians are analyzing and hearing different parts of the piece that make it a whole rather than just listening.